Hakeem Olufemi Gbajabiamila. God bless you all. The true test of government is in our ability to protect the most vulnerable amongst us.
As lawmakers resume plenary, Speaker Fani reiterates resolve to pass priority legislation.
The committee has commenced its legislative process of evidence gathering.
And lawmakers begin a review of purchase and control of arms and ammunition in the last 10 years. A warm welcome to a fresh package of House tickets coming your way on the NTA Parliament. Lawmakers of the 9th House of Representatives resumed plenary on the 9th of February after the 2020 end-of-year recess. Upon resumption, they declared a commitment to constituents and Nigerians as a whole that people-oriented legislations will be their focus, vowing to pursue the passage of such legislations such as the PIB, Electoral Act, Constitution Review, Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and the review of Trafficking in Persons and Prohibition Act, amongst others. House Speaker promises to be engaging. Stay tuned, and let's begin the program right after this short break.
If we set our minds right, embrace each other in love and brotherhood, we will come through these troubling times. We will survive, we will recover, and then we will thrive. One nation under God, free, peaceful, and prosperous.
Amidst the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic, even as new strains are being discovered within the country, lawmakers weathered the challenges to resume plenary sittings so as to give Nigerians the desired governance and laws that will benefit all. However, the plenary sessions are not going to be business as usual, as safety measures against the spread of coronavirus have been adopted. To this end, sitting occurred for only 2 days. Let us begin with the details of plenary as compiled and presented from the studio.
In view of the second wave of the virus, new COVID-19 regulations and protocols to keep each other safe as well as all staff concerned have been put in place by the legislature as it resumed plenary sitting for the year 2021. After a 15-minute executive session taken by the lawmakers, some of the issues discussed, amongst others, had to do with the best ways to pursue legislative businesses while at the same time curtailing the spread of the COVID-19 virus around the National Assembly. Among these new regulations is minimizing the number of media houses recording the proceedings in the chamber. Non-essential staff of lawmakers have also been asked to work from home for the time being. To proceedings of the week, the House acknowledged the receipt of a letter from President Muhammadu Buhari seeking its confirmation of appointment of the Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs. This was on Wednesday, the 10th of February 2021.
In compliance with the provisions of Section 18(1) of the Armed Forces Act, Cap A20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, I hereby forward for confirmation by the House of Representatives the appointment of the underlisted officers as Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I hope that the Honorable House will consider and confirm the nominees in the usual expeditious manner. Please accept, the Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest consideration.
The letter has been referred to an ad hoc committee comprising of 6 members each from the committees on Army, Air Force, Defense and Navy. The chairman of the ad hoc committee is lawmaker Babajimi Benson, who chairs the House Standing Committee on Defense. The Speaker, in welcoming his colleagues from the recess, reiterated the resolve of the House to serve the people and the nation with renewed vigor and zeal.
In the 2021 legislative year, we will focus the attention of the House of Representatives on bills and motions that improve ease of doing business and unlock economic potential by stripping away restrictive regulation and ending predatory regulatory practices that deprive our young people the opportunity to conquer new frontiers in this age of technology and innovation, of daring and enterprise. We cannot risk implementing policies that handicap our ability as a nation to participate in new markets and profit from emerging industries. Honorable colleagues, the true test of government is in our ability to protect the most vulnerable amongst us. We cannot separate the goal of economic prosperity from the ambition to ensure that all our people live in a just society, free from abuse of power and protected by a justice system built on fairness and the rule of law.
Other priority areas include the bill to amend the Administration of Criminal Justice Act and the review of Trafficking in Persons and Prohibition Act, as well as other legislations that seek to deliver a justice system that works for all. Security being one of the top issues of concern to the legislature, the Speaker reiterated the resolve of the House to continue to take government agencies to task on behalf of the general populace.
Last year, we initiated legislative action in the House of Representatives to build a more effective framework for policing accountability. That process is ongoing, with the Police Service Commission Reform Bill currently making the way through legislative process. We will ensure that a bill shortly emerges from the House of Representatives without compromising any of the objectives that necessitated our intervention in the first instance. At this time, I will crave the House's indulgence to raise a matter of urgent importance. It has become more difficult with each appropriation cycle for the government to meet its obligations. The exploding recurrent cost of governance demands that we be more circumspect in the priorities we pursue.
On motions taken during the week in review, the House, through a matter of urgent public importance, called for an investigation into the procurement, deception, staff victimization, and ongoing management problems in the Project Development Institute, PRODA, Enugu, under the Ministry of Science and Technology. Lawmaker Henry Wawuba sponsored the motion.
Aware that the federal government, through the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, in its letter dated 17 November 2020, the new PRODA management, within 2 months, went into contract cancellation and re-award of same without BPP approval, in contradiction of an already concluded 2020 procurement process, where various contractors have executed their contracts and are yet to be paid due to the same unresolved management brouhaha.
Without debating the motion, the House resolved to mandate the House Committee on Public Procurement to investigate these serious allegations by inviting the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Director General of BPP and PRODA Management, to appear before the committee and report back to the House within 7 days. Mandate the Project Development Institute to stop all further procurement activities of the 2020 budget and pay contractors, suppliers, and consultants who have executed their contracts without further delay.
Those against me say nay. Ayes have it.
Another matter of urgent public importance presented on the floor of the same day was the need for the Constitution Review Committee to take the 2014 National Conference report and the All Progressives Congress Committee report on true federalism. It was sponsored by the Deputy Minority Leader of the House.
That the conference made over 600 recommendations cutting across the public service, devolution of powers, and political restructuring and national security, trade and investment, energy, public service, and revenue generation, social welfare, politics and governance, electoral reforms, amongst others. The ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, set up a committee on true federalism in August 2017, pursuant to Article 7 of the APC Constitution. The records of the 2014 National Conference and the APC Committee on True Federalism will benefit the National Assembly in the discharge of the constitutional responsibilities, including the ongoing constitutional amendment efforts.
The Deputy Speaker, who chairs the Constitution Review Committee, reacted to the motion.
He is asking us to commit ourselves to receive a report of a political party or any other agency of government. In the Procedures Act, we have advertised for those who are interested to submit what should be of interest to us at jurisdiction, call for memoranda. That has been done. It is the duty of those agencies and other interested parties to bring up. He's a member, again, of the Constitutional Review Committee. That's not the procedure. If he has anything of interest there, it's for him to bring through bills.
For us to err on the
A
side
right of reply was given to the sponsor of the motion, and he tried to explain further on the intendment of the motion.
2 weeks ago, the governor of Kaduna State, who chaired that committee, said that we are reviewing the Constitution and that he is hoping that some of the fundamentals and findings of that committee, which is something that they have gone around Nigeria to obtain, will enrich our consideration.
The speaker re-echoed the argument put in by the deputy speaker, which begged for the motion to be stepped down.
Okay.
Those are important documents. Those are very, very important documents that will guide the Deputy Speaker's committee, and he has already put out that they should submit those memoranda. So I think there will be no need for the debate anymore. Your point has been made. And he has even, apart from procedurally, he said that they've already done what they need to do.
A third motion taken same day and sponsored by lawmaker Mukhtar Ahmed was on the urgent need to investigate and recover monies, assets and dividends of the federal government in some privatized public enterprises.
Concerned that the federal government may not be able to recover those monies, dividends and assets, except if they are properly determined. Further aware that the federal government needs money to finance the budget.
The motion's only prayer was adopted. It called for the constitution of an ad hoc committee to investigate and determine those assets and report back to the House on its findings within 8 weeks. In that regard, a 12-man ad hoc committee was proposed. It is to be chaired by the chairman of the Standing Committee on Privatization.
Support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Meanwhile, a lawmaker, Sheikh Hussaini, was sworn in as a member of the House of Representatives under the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA. He represents Rijau Magama Federal Constituency of Niger State. He replaces late Jafar Ilyasu Auna, who passed away in December 2019.
So, clerk, make sure
16 bills were presented for first reading on the floor of the House. They include Administration of Criminal Justice Act Amendment Bill 2021, Armed Forces Act Amendment Bill 2021, Cyber Crimes Prohibition Prevention etc. Bill 2021, University Teaching Hospitals Reconstruction of Board etc. Act Amendment Bill 2021. Others are Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2021, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2021, Rice Import Prohibition Bill 2021, Religious Discrimination Prohibition Bill 2021, and Firearms Act Amendment Bill 2021. The House also received several reports, including that from the House Committee on Healthcare Services, and a bill for an act to repeal the Quarantine Act, make provisions relating to quarantine, and make regulations for preventing the introduction into and spread in Nigeria of dangerous infectious diseases and for related matters. On a sad note, the House reconvened to the news of the passing away of one of their own during the recess in the person of Representative O.C. Prestige. As customary, the House did not conduct any legislative work on Tuesday, the 9th of February, as it adjourned plenary in honor of the late lawmaker. A minute silence was also observed in his honor.
May the soul of our friend and colleague, Honorable O.C. Prestige, rest in peace.
The Speaker, however, made some brief remarks on the time spent by late O.C. Prestige as a lawmaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
A couple of days ago, Honorable O.C. Prestige, as we all know, was a major part of this chamber's, a great guy, full of life, full of wisdom, a fighter to the end, and he proved that even in this sickness.
A valedictory session will be scheduled at a later date to honor the late Honorable O.C. Prestige. Before his death, lawmaker O.C. Prestige represented Aba North and Aba South Federal Constituency of Abia State under the All Progressives Grand Alliance Party, ABGA. May his soul rest in peace. Amen.
Still on lawmaker O.C. Prestige's demise, we caught up with lawmakers outside plenary who spoke of their late colleague as a patriotic Nigerian who has contributed to nation building through his objective beliefs.
We're going to miss Prestige. He's a strong believer of what is good, and he maintained his stand, a very straightforward person. That's how one can describe Honorable C. Prestige.
And so it's on a sad note that we'll talk about it. It's not something that we would like to talk about. It's something that we would like to talk about good things, but it's inevitable. Death is inevitable, and my prayer goes to his family.
Moving away from that, House Ticket also caught up with the House leader, Representative Alhassan Adudogwa, in a brief chat. The lawmaker assured Nigerians and indeed constituents of a more positive outlook for the year 2021.
The security issue of empowerment, engagements with the civil society organizations to make sure that we run not just a responsive but a sensitive government, a government that listens to the yearnings and aspirations of its people. We will continue to really encourage that partnership, that synergy with the quantum of the different sectors of the society, so that at the end the desired leadership in terms of good governance will be able to deliver. And I want to believe that the National Assembly, especially the House of Representatives, is quite aware of some of the exigencies of the financial implications, especially due to the economic challenges the government is facing. We'll look forward perhaps to some other windows and openings to be able to fill in those gaps, financial gaps, in terms of financing the governance process.
In another scene, the Ninth House, through its Media and Publicity Committee, has further reiterated the zeal of the House to surmount the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic while working harder to achieve its mandate as the legislative arm of government. The chairman of the committee said this will be done through the adoption of innovative technologies, amongst others.
You know, COVID slowed us down last year. Most of the pieces of legislation that were supposed to speed up to their final stages, they were encumbered because we are meeting 2 hours. We were meeting 2 hours every sitting day. So there was no way for us to handle all the pieces of legislation at the same speed that we were doing it pre-COVID. We are hoping that with the new idea that the leadership is thinking about, technology, we're trying to see how we'll use that to achieve more this year. We're going to push it harder. People don't believe that it's going to get to the stage where Nigerians will benefit from that piece of legislation, but we're determined. The political will is there, the commitment of the leadership is there, PIB will be made a reality.
He added that the House will carry over pending critical legislations from year 2020 for conclusion. On other matters arising, lawmaker Benjamin Kalu has called for more understanding by constituents and indeed Nigerians on the need to fully understand the role of the legislative arm of government in a democratic dispensation. He said constituents inundate lawmakers with demands beyond the scope and expectation of legislators.
About 4 or 5 that called in, they were asking me about why I have not fixed 3, 4, 5 roads. And the interviewer now asked, are you saying, can you clarify people on the responsibility of the members of the House? I took my time to clear it. Many people misunderstand what is happening, with the Parliament. And some of the members who don't know how to, explain to their constituents, carry this pressure with them, with little resources. And it weighs them down. Do you know that members of the National Assembly spend their private money to take care of constituents? And the constituents feel that they are using the money that they are being given is from the federal government. But it's coming from that representative's pocket. And this is killing them. But we need you to help us by telling the story the way it is.
If you go to write to the public and tell them we are compromised, that's what we're not, that is what they will believe, because you are the mirror, you are the window, you are the eyes of the public. Okay? The story is not that we have been compromised, that COVID affected every aspect of our life, including the work of the parliament.
Thanks for still being there. Still on events of the lawmakers outside plenary, we take you to the committee room where the inaugural ceremony of the ad hoc committee on the need to review the purchase, use, and control of arms, ammunition, and related hardware by military, paramilitary, and other law enforcement agencies in Nigeria took place. The service chiefs were all represented at the event. Other agencies included the Ministry of Police Affairs, the Nigerian Police, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Finance, Defense, Industries Corporation of Nigeria (DICON), amongst other paramilitary agencies like the Nigerian Correctional Service, Fire Service, and the Nigerian Immigration Service, amongst others. The chairman of the ad hoc committee, lawmaker Olaide Akinremi, represented the speaker in the brief inaugural event. He summed up the purpose of the investigations.
The committee shall proceed to investigate the quality and quantity of arms and ammunition purchased in the last 10 years by clear inquest into the relevant tools and equipment, as well as ammunition, as to whether evidence exists or not. The committee has commenced its legislative process of evidence gathering towards accomplishing this legislative assignment. It is through evidence gathered that the committee will be able to deliver on this all-important national assignment that will guarantee national security, economic growth, and national development. In order to achieve these worthy goals, the committee will require your utmost timely and kind cooperation for the purpose of completeness.
He emphasized that the investigation has become necessary for accountability in public offices, explaining that funds expended in purchase of arms and ammunition is estimated at $47.3 thousand as at 2019. He said procurement of arms and ammunition in 2018 took 14.25% of Nigeria's GDP, and that Nigeria ranks 4th in Africa and 52nd in the world in arms importation, according to the International Trade Center. He said this trend is worrisome and a threat to national development, technical progress, and economic growth. The deputy chairman gave the vote of thanks to end the event.
We need to find out where the problem starts. What do we need to do? How can we achieve a win-win situation and improved procurement, distribution, utilization of arms and ammunition? What are the quality of arms purchased in the last 10 years? What went wrong? How can we get over it?
The ad hoc committee is expected to write to various agencies requiring documented information about these transactions to aid the lawmakers carry out their assignment. We'll take our last report from the federal constituencies, where Lagos Island Constituency 2 saw initiatives by their representatives to boost education, economic empowerment through skills acquisition, amongst other COVID-19 palliatives.
Representative Kayode Moshood Akiolu, representing Lagos Island Constituency 2, had cause to support his people with palliatives to help flatten the COVID-19 curve and ensure their safety. In a recent outing, the lawmaker provided the less privileged in the constituency with free foodstuffs such as rice, garri, bromate-free bread, pastry, meat, hand sanitizers, and customized face masks. In other initiatives of the lawmaker in the 2 days outing, he provided a school bus for all pupils of Lagos Island Constituency 2 to cater for their daily shuttle to school and cover up for the ban placed on movement of motorcycles and tricycles in Lagos State. Another 100 students received JAMB forms as part of his initiative to encourage education. 10 teachers, on the other hand, were empowered with information and communication technology ICT tools in partnership with an ICT firm, SOF Engineering Limited, who offered ICT training to them, after which the teachers were each given a laptop.
On behalf of Lagos Island teachers, we appreciate you. God will continue to praise on the praise you. It will make you a greater height. More of this to come. By next year, it will be more than this. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
The lawmaker re-echoed the importance of ensuring that teachers are well trained and equipped to do their jobs. The training of the teachers will be done over a span of 5 years, according to the agreement entered into with ICT training firm.
Like it or not, we are in the IT world. During COVID, it was most meetings were done via Zoom meeting, and also obviously we have to come to terms with the IT as taken over the world, which means everybody in position of leadership, being a teacher, being you a politician, being you a businessman, the type of industry, IT is taking over, and you must be IT compliant.
Still from lawmaker Kayode Moshood Akiolu to his constituents was the training and empowerment of over 200 artisans with sewing machines, power generating sets, hair dryers, bench grinders, and hair clippers. Cash grants were also given to each graduate of the skills acquisition training. Constituents praised the benevolence of the lawmaker as they pledged more support to him in the days ahead.
We continue to bless him. God will continue to enrich him and make him more achievable and progress.
He has promised from the beginning that he's going to support teachers in whatever we do. And I think this has been a tremendous work by giving out laptops to teachers for use in school to train and train pupils, and for them to research and do more of teaching.
We've come to the end of this package of house tickets here. Please continue to keep safe by taking all precautionary measures to keep the spread of the COVID-19 at bay. Many thanks for sharing your half hour with us. See you next time.